Some leagues are allowed to play outside of their conference and things. So a lot of us had a really good time finding non-conference games. So this is just a way to get some non-conference games in before the league actually starts. So these games won't count towards the league standings or anything. Just kind of a preseason warm-up.
And that was AC baseball coach Craig Rainey. Siena Heights baseball dropped a doubleheader against St. Francis, Indiana in their home opener for the season. Final scores: Game 1, 15-4. Game 2, 12-9. Siena is 0-4 on the year. Up next, the Saints stay here. They take on Lawrence Tech in a non-conference single game today. First pitch at 4 o'clock. SHU football trying to make the best of the situation, coping with all the challenges that come with a winter-spring football in Michigan. We talked with Siena Heights football head coach Matt Cohn. Siena Heights football coach Matt Cohn. You can hear the Saints at Indiana Wesleyan Saturday at 2 on WLEN and at WLEN.com. Switching gears completely across town in a different sport, Adrian College hockey. The men's team, they may have the best player in the country right now. That's what Coach Adam Krug tells us. He's sophomore forward Alessio Luciani. We talked to him last week. Actually, Steve Barkway did. Talked to him about his hot streak.
You had another big night, a hat trick again. You're scoring in bunches.
Yeah, I owe all my success to my line mates, Rex and Grant. They're doing a hell of a job on the forecheck, and even in the defensive end, I know we kind of got stuck out there for a couple goals against, but every time we get scored on, we're always like, all right, next one's ours, and that's exactly what we did tonight. And
that's what it sounds like. Coach just got done telling me that right now you are playing well enough to be maybe the best player in the country.
Oh,
that's pretty high praise.
Yeah, I know that is. I don't really look at that. I just look at the next game, and I know we got a couple of games here till playoffs, and the ultimate goal for us is another here. We want to defend that, so that's the goal that I look forward to.
And that was Alessio Luciani. Bulldogs trying for their 10th straight at Trine on Friday, then in a regular season finale Saturday at 5 at the Arrington. We'll have that game for you on the Cave Saturday at 5. Well, the Toledo Mudhens will open their season May 4th at Fifth Third Field.
There you go.
That's it. May the 4th be with you. The team made the announcement Wednesday, a day after MLB announcing the minor league season would be delayed. Mudhens will open against the Nashville Sounds. Fifth Third Field will be used as an alternate training site for the Tigers for the first month of the MLB season. Toledo will play 120 games. The team is working with the Ohio Health Department to allow for 30% capacity at the stadium. We had some area boys basketball yesterday. Ann Arbor Green Hills 50 to Madison Heights Bishop Foley's 36. Hanover Horton 61, East Jackson 43. Vandercook Lake 82 to Manchester's 44. And let's see, we'll get an NBA story in here. Joel Embiid had 40 points, 19 rebounds, not too bad. He had a game-tying three-pointer late in regulation. Tobias Harris had 11 of his 22 points in overtime. The Philadelphia 76ers went past the Utah Jazz 131-123. That was in a matchup of the NBA's Eastern and Western Conference leaders. How weird is that to say? The 76ers and Jazz atop the NBA.
That was a good one.
76ers out on top. That'll do it for our sports update for this hour. We'll do it again at 8.
Nice. All right. Good start to the show. A lot of a lot of stuff going on. We're getting ready for some playoff hockey at Adrian College, and we're in football season now. So
Yeah, no. Just throw that in the mix too.
yeah, that's just
Normally something that dominates the show
yeah,
is also in the spring. So in the winter,
right.
technically, in the winter sports are like, come on, why are you talking about football?
Yeah, it's
well,
like,
we're playing it.
And don't you already talk enough about it? Well, it's actually here now. So we'll have Saints football this weekend, and then March 20th is the Adrian College season.
Yep,
their
that's when
kickoffs.
they get started.
So yeah, exciting stuff coming up. All right. What's first?
Oh, no, you don't have the schedule? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't have a schedule in front of me.
I want to go NFL free agency.
Okay. All right.
And,
Sounds good.
Yeah, we got a text from JR, John Roberts, who's got his finger on the pulse
Okay.
of all sports, and he makes sure to let us know. So the Lions made a signing at receiver
Yes.
yesterday. It was it Terrell Williams? Is that the name?
Yes. Terrell Williams, 1-year deal worth up to $6.2 million.
Okay, so the question is, what does that mean for Amendola, for Jones, for Galladay? Does it mean anything? Does it mean everything?
Right.
They haven't released or traded anyone.
Yeah, they're all three of those guys are going to end up being free agents. The talk is, I would plan to use maybe the franchise tag on Galladay. We don't have usually a franchise tag. It's going to go to in recent years, it's been quarterbacks have been placed on franchise tags, and occasionally a defensive like lineman or so. But I think Galladay would be my look at there, because then you have Terrell Williams, who I don't think he's as good as Marvin Jones Jr. But if you're gonna lose one, I might let go of Jones rather than Galladay, just because I think Galladay still has. Maybe it's just because he hasn't played as much, so he might have more potential still available and more room to grow. But that's my take on it. I think it was a good pickup for the Lions. They're obviously going through a rebuild. This is not new information. Detroit in a rebuild is like synonyms. I think they go together, like peanut butter and jelly. So we're in that process, and Danny Amendola, he's been around for years, just forever. I feel like the guy's just has so much years of pounding of hits and big games he's played in, obviously with New England, but I don't know if he's really going to be someone to really keep around. You do want to have some of those veterans that kind of keep the team, help grow the younger players, but it's an interesting situation now when the Lions are in this position to have so many moving parts in the receiving corps when you just brought in a franchise quarterback. Ideally, if we're, I don't think they're in a hurry to overlook Jared Goff as the next face of the franchise. So, who are you going to put around him? Who are you going to have as tools? The only one we know for sure is Terrell Williams.
So if you've out there been listening to the show for the last probably month or so, I've been a big fan of draft a receiver. Draft Smith.
Yeah.
Draft Devonta Smith at number 7, or if you need to move down and pick him, whatever.
I think
so
he's worth
in my
it.
mind, he's there. Okay, now Williams is there. And Marvin Jones wants to go.
Yeah, he does.
Does that necessarily mean they're going to pay Galladay or try to trade him? I think since you are in rebuild mode, I think Galladay's gone. I think either Amendola gets the most league minimum you can, but in all likelihood he's gone. So I think what this signing of Williams means, they're not anywhere with Jones. They see the writing on the wall with Amendola. Because you can get a young guy who's faster and not like Amendola's a possession type receiver now. He's not beating anyone.
Right.
Like
No.
he'll get into a spot and catch it.
Yeah, runs a smart route and just gets a quick look of openness and makes a catch for
Right.
a few yards.
You
Yeah.
could put a guy like Agnew in that spot.
Yeah.
Who's played some receiver. And I think they're really trying to trade Galladay. I honestly,
I think
that's
he has
what I think.
a lot of trade stock. I think there is a lot of value for him. I mean, he's had a couple injuries and stuff, and it was questionable. Every week, fantasy, you're looking at it, and you're like, okay, is this guy actually in or out? They playing that card of doubtful or questionable. So I agree. If you're taking we picked up Terrell Williams, who can fill that spot of like Marvin Jones, and Jones has enough reasons to want to be out of Detroit.
Sure.
It's been a trying time. He's gone through a lot of ups and downs. So to go and look at the draft and say, hey, let's get another big time receiver. They don't get any bigger. Maybe physically they're bigger, but a Heisman winning wide receiver. Let's do it. We're in the position. We have enough other. If we have to move up, but at the same time, I don't think 7 isn't a bad spot. I think he's gonna be there. So hopefully, and if not,
there could be a situation where he goes higher,
right?
And we take Mr. Chase.
Yeah, I mean,
from LSU.
There's a couple good ones. LSU has proven that they can turn out really good receivers as well. We've seen Justin Jefferson, who was a rookie last year, and obviously OBJ and teammate there in Cleveland. Jarvis Landry. Yeah, all LSU grads. Well, not graduates, but players. They went to LSU and performed, and now are performing even better at the big stage. So we know that there is potential there, even if you don't end up with Smith out of Alabama. But I think it has turned a little more to that's where our pick is going to lie. I was a little questionable. I know you've been, like you said, you've been saying it for over a month now. That's where you would go with it, and I don't think it's a bad idea. I didn't think it was the logical choice, but after kind of seeing them we're making these signings of, starting in this process of signing wide receivers instead of working what we have in house.
Sure.
I think that might be pointing to what's coming. So.
Yeah, and to rebuild, you need to keep tearing it down.
Yeah.
Galladay has value.
Yeah.
And you don't want to pay him that much. You need money into the defense. You need money into that defense.
Absolutely.
And you need a running game for Goff, and that's been proven that he plays better when there's a running game. Most quarterbacks do.
Right.
Stafford did, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
But Goff went to a
get it
Super
going.
Bowl, played in a Super Bowl because he had that running game.
Yeah.
And you can work the play action.
Well, it's just so important for that aspect. If you you have to pass, the defense is so much more prepared. When you can run effectively, and they might even know you're gonna run, but that just changes your level of offense to a whole nother. And especially, I do like you mentioned the money on the defensive side, because we're playing in a division. We got to see the MVP twice. We're not, the North is a hard spot to be in. You can't, I mean, NFL is just a hard spot to win. If you don't have a good defense, I guess maybe if you're going against the Cowboys or Giants, but, that's just another whole area. But, it's, this area, this division is a tough one to win if you don't have that two sides of the ball. You need both sides, and you need them performing at a very high level every week. So. That'll be interesting to continue seeing what the Lions do in developing that area.
So we have the receiver with Terrell Williams.
Right.
He'll be fine. It's not a blockbuster thing.
No, it's not.
Lions fans are waiting for what's the defense looking like? Are we going to franchise a defensive guy?
Right. If we do get rid of all the wide receivers, okay, who's our franchise tag then going to go to? You got to say the defensive side. That would be my guess.
Yeah, and this is an interesting signing, but it's not the most. Want to see what happens with the defense. That's the big question mark for all Lions fans for the past 4 years or so. Since they made the playoffs with that pretty darn good defense.
Yeah,
it's been downhill since. They have to fix the Quintricia mess on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I like that.
Quintricia
Mess. Yeah, it sounds like a 5-time the mess, but it's really just a combination of the past coaches that have. And it's true. I mean, they just came in and they kind of worked with what they had or tried to build more, but this is you might have said, "Oh, we've been in rebuild mode for a couple years." No, this is rebuild.
Yeah, look out.
Like we got rid of Matthew Stafford. Everything is on the table. I don't care how long you've been there. You're everyone's tradable. They go. So it'll be interesting. Lions. But also, that's the nature of the sport. You want to win. You come in with the new, the whole new. I like the mindset of the Lions right now. It feels different than what we've seen in past. They want, and I mean, it could be Campbell coming in saying he's going to bite people's kneecaps off, and
that changes things.
Like what is
that changes perception.
And that kind of that mindset that he's bringing with him. It's good. It's a good atmosphere to have. He's a former Lion himself. He knows the city, knows Detroit.
Boy, I mean, I'm sure you know people that have had kneecaps moved around. So hearing Dan Campbell say that must have been super uncomfortable for them.
I've seen it, and I'll tell you,
it's gross.
It's gross. Yeah.
And this dude's biting them off.
He's
not just dislocating them.
Yeah, he's not just like, oh, let me.
He's biting them with his teeth.
And you're not gonna. It's not even like you can replace it
multiple times.
You have to. Yeah, it's not that you can fix it. You have to literally get it completely replaced. Anyways, that's
gross.
That's the mindset the Lions are coming in. So, Vikings, Aaron Rodgers, you better watch out. You never know what's gonna happen in Lambeau this year.
Watch your knees.
All right, we're gonna take a quick timeout. We'll be back with more here on 96.5 The Cave and 96.5thecave.com. Chuck Moran, Ian Wendt, happy to have you in this Thursday morning. week, but we're ready. We got some big games coming up. College basketball. Michigan State gonna finish out the regular season. What's better than a good Michigan State team and Michigan obviously being good all year, but Michigan State finally kind of looking like that team. I know that Maryland game might have had other thoughts, but what are our expectations going into these final 2 games before the Big Ten Conference and conference tournament and going into March Madness? So how big are these games? How big is their impact?
All right, give us a U of M fight song. We're going to start with Michigan first.
Right there.
Now we got a little maize and blue going on this Thursday morning. Expectations for Michigan. Your expectation, minimum, finish up the Big Ten regular season.
Yeah.
Whether that means whooping up on State twice or just beating them once and winning the conference, that's an expectation. Your expectation should be also to play in the Big Ten championship game. In all likelihood against Illinois, because it looks like they're 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Ohio State is in that second tier. Purdue, don't sleep on them, but it's Michigan and Illinois.
Okay.
And I think right now they're both a number 1 seed overall.
Yeah.
In the tournament.
You're gonna put Illinois over Ohio State as a number 1? You think that's been proven enough where Illinois has kind of solidified themselves maybe just slightly above Ohio State as that?
Yeah, you got Ohio State losing to Michigan, lose to Michigan State, lose to Iowa.
Yeah.
Recently.
A little rough stretch for
Tough
them.
stretch, but they didn't get wins out of that. So
and then you have to look at Illinois coming into Ann Arbor and getting that win. Even if it was just a bad game for Michigan, that wasn't
just a win, Chuck. That was a beatdown.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I know.
When State gets beat down, they get beat down.
Yeah.
Michigan was never in that game.
Okay.
They were never in that game. For whatever reason. It could be an off night, it's whatever, but
You're right. You gotta call it like it is.
Yeah, 23 points is beat down in college hoops. Anyway, so Michigan's expectation, play in the Big Ten championship game. Is Elite 8 crazy? Is that too high of an expectation? Is playing the national championship too high? Gosh, on Monday, I was saying, it's the best team in America.
Yeah.
I think it's a joke that they were below Gonzaga. I think they still can play like it.
Right. Do you put too much? It's almost do we put too much pressure on that one, weight on that one loss? I mean, Illinois is a great team. The Illini came out and showed who they are.
Michigan was beating great teams.
That's true. And like I said, how much weight do you put on that one game to say, okay, now are they as good as we thought they were? I mean, they're human. They're college students that are going through one of the most difficult times of sports probably in history. This is crazy to be playing the way they are, and to be dealing with everything else going on in the world outside of sports. They can't. They are humans. They turn on the news. They probably turn on ESPN. They see people talking about them. They see and you can't. That'll get to you. So where are those expectations? I mean, it's March Madness for a reason. Anything could happen. These teams could come in, and you never want to see them go out early, but crazier things have happened. We've had the number 16 team beat a number 1 seed. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's March Madness. So
if it were to happen, it'd be this year.
We've had once ever, and they only made it to then the next round, but that was first time ever, and that was against Virginia 2 years ago. But I would not be surprised. It's almost like I feel it's coming that a 16 seed this year is also going to be a number 1 seed. I just don't want it to be Michigan as a number 1 seed. So
right, does this loss to Illinois, Michigan fan, creep the thought back into your mind of not again?
Right.
Expectations are high. We feel disrespected. We're going to do this, that, the other thing. And then you'll lose by 23 to Illinois. And then you get bounced in the second round of the, you're going to get a double bye.
Yeah.
Are you thinking gosh darn it, if we go out and lose one of these two to State and then get ousted in the first round,
Do they
it's
drop?
the same old, same old.
I mean, they're obviously in the tournament, but then they drop out of a number
To a
one
number
seed?
two.
Like,
Depends.
you know, if
Depends what Illinois does.
I think it also depends on the quality of loss, if there is a loss.
Right.
You know, like
They might never.
the two losses that they've had this year have not been good. They have been
No.
ugly losses,
Yes.
and you know, like you said, they're beatdowns. It hasn't been coming down a back and forth game where, you know, say that Ohio State game, say it had been the other way. It really wouldn't have affected Michigan that much in the rankings. It was a close game. They had played it tough. It was on the road, but they ended up getting a win there. But when you lose to Illinois at home, the way they did in a beatdown, then it does raise some red flags. And you can't, you know, you want that feeling of disrespect, that hunger that they were playing with all season to still be there, because the hunger's still there. It should still be there. The job isn't done. You know, we have, you know, you want to play on Monday in April. That's the ultimate goal. That's what Juwan Howard said at the beginning of the season when he was talking to the team. And, you know, keep that alive and well. So it'll be interesting. Flip the side. What are we thinking? State. You want some?
I will tell you, my expectation changed a little bit for Michigan.
Okay.
After that loss.
Yeah.
Not a ton. I think everyone's expectation should be this team can still get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
They can still get out of the bracket. This was just a hiccup. All right, bring it against State. Go beat down on State. Then we'll forget about that Illinois game. You might see them again in the Final Four. So that's my expectation right now. Talk to me next Monday after they play State twice. It'll either be the same or we have a lot more questions.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm brushing past it. Bad game. Dickinson wasn't great. Wagner wasn't great. Now, the team was coming off a tough stretch,
Yeah.
but they were winning. They were
They
finding
were.
a way.
They were. It wasn't
and they
like-
didn't.
So.
It's a hiccup. I'll count that as a hiccup for Michigan. So, Final Four
You guys heard
should
it.
be the expectation.
Ian Wendt's not too worried about Michigan basketball. Good.
No, that'll surprise everyone on this show. Everyone that I work with
I
at
know.
this place.
The group chat's
is
gonna,
shocked.
you know, be lighting up. They're saying Ian's a Michigan fan. Break the news.
Oh, he's switching sides. No.
That's the headline.
I'm not freaking out.
News director Ian Wendt, now a Michigan fan.
Yeah. I'm not freaking out.
That's good.
Not
Well,
yet.
listen, if he's not freaking out, then no one should be. You know, like I said, it's just a hiccup. It is what it is, and hey, they're human. I think that was also kind of the thing we got to remember. These guys were playing great basketball, and it's you know, they're playing at a level that no one expected. If you had said, hey, we're going to be competing for a number one seed back in, you know, October, November, when the season was getting going and we were getting ready for college basketball, I think you would have surprised a lot of people.
Well, this team was unranked
Yeah,
to start the year.
it has to be the biggest story of college basketball. I mean, at least in the Big Ten, you know, they're I would
Besides
think,
State sucking, this is the biggest story.
yeah.
Talked to John Gordon last week, like, what surprises you more, is State being horrible or Michigan being good? Well, State being horrible.
Yeah,
That's a good transition to talk about State.
Let's hear it.
Did you get the fight song in and I missed it?
Oh no,
Yeah,
here we
Gotta
go.
be fair. I know you don't want to click that green button. Okay, what's your expectation, Michigan State? What team are you? Got it in the group text. I was giving a little elbows to the guys. I'm like, oh, did Michigan play the other night? I said, yeah, they played like State did all year. Well, here comes State.
Here they come.
Here they come, get crushed by Maryland on the road. Then you come home, another hungry team in Indiana, and you beat them. You sweep the Hoosiers. You might have knocked them out of the tournament. Who knows?
That did affect them. That was a must-win for both teams.
Yeah.
Which is great basketball. You know, we're getting to that time of the year where we're getting great competitive matchups.
But man,
Man.
these last two, I've wanted fans to be at all the games. We all do as sports
Man,
fans.
yeah.
But man, State and Indiana, that Breslin Center would have been rocking.
Oh, yeah.
Rocking.
Oh, yeah.
And Chrysler would have too for that Illinois game. But anyway, what's the expectation now? So the last 2 weeks, you beat Indiana on their floor, comeback style. You beat number 4 Illinois. Beat numbers, what was Ohio State then? 5? They were in the top 5. You
Yeah.
beat the Buckeyes. Okay, you lose to Maryland. You beat Indiana. What's the expectation for Michigan State? Expectation for me, what realistically this team is going to do. They'll get to the Big Ten tournament. They'll win a game.
Yeah.
Now there's the play-in round, right, where it's like the 12 and the 14 play,
Yes.
and then the next round, that winner would play one of the top 4. So State will get to, that would be the quarterfinal,
Yeah.
where they will lose. They're not one of the top 4 in the Big Ten. I know they beat the Buckeyes and beat the Illini. You sweep Michigan, we'll talk again. Like you play really well against Michigan, we'll talk again.
Yeah.
But right now, this team is 1 win in the Big Ten tournament, and then they're out. They will make the NCAAs.
You think so?
I think you play respectable against Michigan, right? You don't, even if you don't win them both, you play them close. Okay, go win a game in the Big Ten tournament you're in. If they win 2, they're for sure in. This team is not a, they're going to get in at like a 10 to 12 seed, probably. Might be looking at 14.
Yeah, I
but
think right now they're seated at a 12. But like you said, based off, they're a 12 with a play-in game. Right now they're talking, Xavier, Michigan State as a play-in game.
yeah,
Those are big names. Those are basketball schools, and that's
Yeah.
a first round. That's a play-in game.
yeah. What's Duke going to be ranked at? What's
They have Duke.
North Carolina?
I don't even know. I don't even see Duke right now on this one.
Like,
They're-
that's
yeah,
the kind of year we're in.
It's a crazy year. Absolutely.
Like, okay, State make the tournament.
Right.
Okay.
Well, also it's
But-
one of those things like like I like having the difference. I like having the different programs at the top of the. It's not the same blue bloods.
Yeah.
But also you kind of want a blue blood in there where it's going to be like, because that's a big. I mean, those fan pools, the fan of like North Carolina has fans all across the country. If they're not in it, it's almost like you're turning away. You're going to have people that are going to be like, I don't even care because like my team's
Sure.
not in it. So. Want to think about that side of it's going to be the money of it and like having those big names in it.
Big
but,
Ten school, blah blah blah.
Right.
This is the best conference in college basketball, the Big Ten.
Who's
And-
making a claim? The Big 12 is also, but it's not the ACC. But the Big 12 is also has 7 teams ranked in the top 25 as of the most recent. When did that happen? That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
but like crazy.
Yeah.
Like you said, a lot of teams new to being up in the top 25, showing their, making a statement, and it could be like Michigan State has this opportunity. They have everything in front of them. They can really do hold all the cards in their hand and control their fate. 2 games against one of the best teams, the best team in the country, one of them in Michigan, and like you said, you beat them well. Even if you only get split that 2 games,
Like if you split it, you're in.
yeah,
I don't think they will. I'm not crazy. Okay, guys, not crazy. State will not beat Michigan.
you don't think so?
No.
I think especially
No.
Michigan State's coming in and they're hungry. They've been hungry, but Michigan's coming off that loss. They're going to be hungry.
They still have to clinch.
Yeah,
the
and they still
regular
have
season.
it. They still technically
Right.
have it. So they have stuff to play for, which means that it isn't just a blow-off game for them. Tonight, I would be shocked, honestly, if State wins. But I wouldn't be surprised if State finds a way. They play Saturday, right?
Today and Sunday.
Sunday. So on Sunday, I would not be surprised if State wins. But today, I expect Michigan to win. So,
So just to give you the expectation, State winning 1 game of the Big Ten tournament in the NCAAs. Will they win in the tournament? The big dance. I didn't say that.
they get invited though.
This team lost to Northwestern. Okay, this team.
Northwestern is 5-13 at
Yeah,
this point. So
and this is the same team that beat Nebraska by 10. Lost to Rutgers by 30. Lost to Iowa by 30. So don't get crazy with this. Well, State's got to get in there, and then Tom Izzo does his thing. Calm down.
Tom Izzo's a great coach,
Calm
but
down.
you got
It's a
to.
pretty. If they get in and win a game in the tournament,
That's
a
a
success for Tom Izzo this year.
Absolutely. Turning
So-
around what they've had, what they started with. I mean, this is, like we talked about, this team started at the top of the top and now is struggling to get by.
It's like the most roller coaster team
Absolutely.
in the country
Oh, yeah.
right now.
All
So there
right.
you go. Expectations for the blue and green.
Not in those exact colors.
No. Maize blue, green white. You know what we're talking about.
Michigan State, a lot of expectations as we're wrapping up that. We'll get a quick timeout. We'll be back with a lot more coming up inside the cave. Chuck Moran, Ian Wendt with you on this Thursday morning. 96.5 The Cave, 96.5thecave.com. Hope you guys are ready to, we're finishing up the first hour, but we have another hour ahead of us. We're going to talk a little Detroit sports. We're at the halfway mark, well, nearly halfway mark for both the Pistons and Red Wings. So, let's break it down, talk about how these seasons have been going for the Little Caesars teams as we reach that point. You like that?
Yeah. New stadium, teams are bad. But yesterday, the Pistons, they beat the Raptors big time, 129-105. Detroit getting their 10th win of the season. Look at this first quarter. Detroit outscored Toronto 43-37 in the first quarter.
Yeah, no defense. And it's not even no defense. Just every shot was falling. They were just shooting lights out, which is great. You get some of these guys just ready. You're getting them into a rhythm. And basketball is a game of streaks. If you guys aren't big basketball, fans, when you get on a hot streak and you're rolling, the confidence, even not just from yourself, the whole team, it's infectious. The whole team is going to be feeding off of if one guy's having a great, a game. So it was a great game for them. They were playing down in Tampa. That's a tough city to go in and win because Toronto's not playing in Toronto. The Raptors are playing down in Tampa this basketball season. So even though it looked like Toronto, it was basically the Tampa Bay Raptors.
Tampa Bay Raptors. So, look, we're trying to grade this team. We know they're going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But we did know they're going to be different. All the moves made in the offseason, all the new faces, Derrick Rose is gone. It's pretty much a new team aside from Blake Griffin, and they're trying to ship Blake out of town.
Yeah.
But look, this team is worse than the East. They're 10-25. It's not good. But wasn't the team in this point kind of last year?
Yeah.
So is this a success?
They were in this point last year with the pieces you just mentioned. This team is younger. This is one of the youngest teams in the entire NBA. So I would look at it. I'm looking at this season. Hey, we just traded for Dennis Smith Jr. He put up a triple-double last night. He had 10 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. That's the guy you just picked up. He hasn't even been in the club for a full month. And you got to see some promise on the horizon and some skill coming through. That you can't discredit that Toronto is a good team. They played without some of their top scorers, but they're still, it's a respected team. They didn't win. They were 2019 NBA champions. They're a recent winning franchise. So
right.
You can't look at it and kind of discredit it. The Pistons have rised up to a couple of these occasions. We took the Lakers to triple overtime. We beat the Raptors.
Beating the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
One of the 10 wins for the team.
It's weird. We also beat the Nets, who are currently on a hot streak. They have three of the biggest names in basketball. So we have these weird wins, and we also have some of these losses we've had some losses we've been on the other side of 129-105. But
plenty of those.
We're on a good. I think we're in a good spot, not for this season, but good spot going forward as a franchise. So this year probably not a great start, but going forward, I think we're in a good spot. So
this season can become a B+, A- if they can find a way to move Blake Griffin. Wins don't really matter for me right now.
Right.
It's finding the core group of guys that can move this team forward. And if they can move on from Griffin, it's a B+, A- year for Detroit, given the expectations. There were 0 for this team, but if they can unload that contract, get him out of town, big success for Detroit.
definitely.
Want to switch up here? I know we got probably a minute left.
Yeah.
Talk about the Red Wings.
The Red Wings real quick. Let's how's that season going?
Well, not good. In case you're new to the party, Red Wings are terrible as well. They go to Carolina today to take on the Hurricanes. Detroit They are just a point above Dallas for the bottom dwellers of the Central Division. I've seen them a few times. They're in the same boat as the Pistons.
Yeah.
We know you suck. Just give us something. And there's a lot of things missing, but you can't be more disappointing than disappointing. So
Right. Well, not big depth, but hey, we're almost, both teams looking to have some promise on the horizon. We'll be back with our next hour, last hour coming up after the break. You're listening to 96.5 The Cave and 965thecave.com with Chuck Moran and Ian Wendt. All right, you're back inside the cave. Second hour. Chuck Moran, Ian Wendt, ready to get you going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We lock of the week, and John Borton from the Wolverine magazine also coming up. And Ian has his updated power rankings also for local high school basketball. So,
Let's go.
You know, a lot of stuff coming up this hour. If you missed the first hour, don't worry. You can join us on YouTube or on 965thecave.com, regardless of where you are. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your auntie, your grandma, everyone. We're on.
Let your mom know where to find us.
Exactly.
Inside
So,
the cave.
with that, let's get right into it.
Now for an Inside the Cave sports update.
And if we missed any relative, they can tune in too. Whatever you call them, Meemaw, Peepaw. High school bowling. Madison Trojans, they beat up on Pittsford Wednesday. They're now 7-0. They won 25-5. The boys did. The girls didn't have enough bowlers to compete. They lost to Pittsford at 27-3. Madison is now 0-6 for the girls. Onstead boys beat Hillsdale in bowling. A weird score here, but we're going decimals here inside the cave. They beat Hillsdale 21.8 to 8.2.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Me neither. First time reading it. Might be a typo, but that's what we have. Adrian took on Jackson last night in bowling. Boys beat up on the Vikings 29-1. Girls, much the same, 25-5. Big wins in bowling. Something new for Adrian Maple fans. Pay attention. APS Athletic Department announcing they have chosen Hometown Ticketing as the official digital ticketing provider for school events. Working with Hometown Ticketing will give the Adrian Athletic Department the ability to sell tickets online, as well as provide additional security and reporting capabilities. So starting Saturday, parents and fans will be able to purchase tickets online for athletic events. Go to adrianmaples.com. Tickets purchased online can also be easily shared with family and friends via text. So check it out, adrianmaples.com. We will have the information on 965thecave.com as well. Going to baseball, college, Adrian College. Craig Rainey, their coach, picked up win on his career, number 699 in his 28th year with the team. 10-3, they beat Piedmont, a ranked opponent. They beat them in Georgia Wednesday. Gunnar Rainey, a home run. Thomas Miller drove in 3 with 2 hits to lead the Adrian College attack. Bulldogs end their opening season road trip. They're 4-2. Now the Dogs come back and they'll play 2 MIAA opponents, but the games won't count in the league standings, as Coach tells us.
Yeah, we go to Grand Park in a couple weeks down in Indianapolis. Kind of a little preseason kickoff type thing for the MIAA that we're trying this year. Obviously, with the COVID stuff and things, some leagues are allowed to play outside of their conference and things. So a lot of us had a really hard time finding non-conference games. So this is just a way to get some non-conference games in before the league actually starts. So these games won't count towards the league standings or anything. Just kind of a preseason warm-up.
Adrian College head baseball coach Craig Rainey. Siena Heights baseball dropped a doubleheader against St. Francis, Indiana in their home opener. Final scores, Game 1, St. Francis 15, Siena 4. Siena would drop the second game 12-9. SHU now 0-4 on the year. They'll stay home to take on Lawrence Tech in a non-conference single game today. First pitch at 4. Some more Siena Heights scores. The men's soccer team, they fell to conference opponent Aquinas Wednesday night to kick off their spring slate of the season. A final score, Saints 1, Saints nothing. Aquinas are the Saints, if you don't get that joke. The Siena Heights Saints, they're 0-5. Aquinas moves to 3-0. And Siena Heights football, they trying to make the best of the situation, coping with the challenges that come with winter spring football in Michigan. Steve Brockway talking with SHU football coach Matt Cohn.
We got back to campus on January 18th. We started practices on February 1st. And up until May, we really had 5 practices outside, one of which was in about 2.5 inches of snow. So that practice was kind of like, hey, everyone just do everything you can not to fall down and get hurt, you know.
SHU football coach Matt Cohn. You can hear the Saints taking on Indiana Wesleyan Saturday at 2. That game will be on 103.9 WLEN, WLEN.com. Switching back to Adrian College, the men's hockey team may have the best player in the country right now. That's what Coach Adam Krug tells us. That's sophomore forward Alessio Luciani. Steve Barkway talking to him about his hot streak.
Even had another big night, hat trick again, scoring in bunches.
Yeah, I owe all my success to my line mates, Rex and Grant. They're doing a hell of a job on the forecheck, and even in the defensive end, I know we kind of got stuck out there for a couple goals against, but every time we get scored on, we're always like, all right, next one guards, and that's exactly what we did tonight.
That's what it sounds like. Coach just got done telling me that right now you are playing well enough to be maybe the best player in the country.
Oh,
That's pretty high praise.
yeah, I know that is. I don't really look at that. I just look at the next game, and I know we got a couple of games here till playoffs, and the ultimate goal for us is another Herring, so we want to defend that. So that's the goal that I look forward to.
Bulldogs are looking to win their 10th straight Friday. Then their regular season finale, Senior Day, Saturday at 5. At the Arrington, you can hear that game on the Cave as they battle the Thunder. Toledo Mud Hens, they'll open their season May 4th. May the 4th be with you at Fifth Third Field. They made the announcement yesterday, a day after the MLB announced the minor league season would be delayed. The Hens will take on the Nashville Sounds. The Tigers will use Fifth Third for a alternate training site for the first month of the season. And a battle of the NBA's best. It was the Philadelphia 76ers in overtime getting past the Utah Jazz, 131-123. Joel Embiid, 40 points, 19 boards, hit a tying three-pointer late in regulation. So, yeah, two of the tops in the NBA, 76ers and the Utah Jazz. That's it for our sports update. We do those weekdays at 7 and 8 o'clock, and on the weekends, Sunday at 11 a.m. and at 12 noon.
Nicely done.
There we go.
All right,
All right, this is the fun part now.
here we go.
This whole show is fun, but we like lists as people, just in general, and we like ranking things.
Yeah, it's human nature.
Saying what's better than the other thing and tell us why. So I'm doing it for our local basketball teams. I did one a couple weeks ago. And let's see, actually what day was it? Yeah, last week. Got the boys and the girls. We're all inclusive inside the cave. We'll start with the girls. Number 12, and staying in that spot from last week, the Addison Panthers. I have a switch here. I got a switch. Adrian Maples, they are at the 12th spot. They're 0-7. That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah.
Addison, they actually now moved up a spot to number 11, despite having lost every game so far. They're 0-7. Britton Deerfield, tough year for them. They are 0-6. They stay at number 10. Jumping up 2 spots to number 9. Hudson Tigers, they got a win. They're 1-7. Again, they're up 2 from number 11. The Morenci Bulldogs, they stay put at number 8 on my list. They're 2-5 on this campaign. Now I'm using these updates from the MHSAA website, so just using those numbers. Down 1 spot at number 7, the Blissfield Royals. They're 4-5. This is a team I said they can make a push. They gave Runaway Christian a run for their money to start the year, and they've been so-so. They're playing some good competition, but the record speaks for itself. They're 4-5. Watch out. I mean, they can still make a run, but as of now, they're at number 7. Moving up a spot to number 6. They've lost 1 less game than Blissfield, and that would be the Clinton Redskins. The girls program, they're 4-4, up 1 spot to number 6. Now we're getting to the teams above 500 for the final 5. Tecumseh down 2 spots. They're 5-4. They've lost both games since I had them at number 3 in my prior rankings. So a little bit of a slide. but Tecumseh's playing good talent in the SEC. It's a really good conference. We talked to their coach, Christy Zajac, about that. So a 5-4 team that in a different league would probably be 7-2 at this time for Tecumseh, but they're at number 5. Number 4, up a spot, Sand Creek, one of the favorites in the TCC. They're 6-4. Solid year so far for the Lady Aggies. Ahead of them, they do lead the conference, Madison. The Trojans are 7-2. They're up 1 spot to number 3. They're rolling.
Right.
They're rolling. Since I ranked them last, they've won 3 straight. So worthy of a
On
number
little hot
3
streak,
spot.
Yeah.
Number 2.
All right.
This is shocking, people.
Okay.
Right now, it's Runaway Christian.
Yeah.
It's number 2.
I'd agree with
they
that.
lost most recently. They do have a nominee for McDonald's All-American in Bree Salenbine. Still, you could argue, I think you would lose, but she is the best player in Lenawee County. The team, they've lost a couple.
Right.
And they're only number 2 because the team ahead of them, and they swap spots, Onstead, they're 10-1. They've played 4 more games than Lenawee Christian. Well, 4 more wins, 1 less loss. They're 10-1. Maya Hiram's outstanding.
Right.
They have some complimentary scoring as well with Kayla Ross for Onstead. It's a scary good team.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't play each other, but man, that would be a game to watch.
That definitely would.
Onstead, Lenawee Christian.
Yeah, I mean it's power rankings of teams. You know, we're not just ranking top players because that's a different conversation. But if you're looking at best teams right now in the county, I agree with that. Onstead has played as the best team. LCS might have the best player, but they aren't playing as united as UMA or not as connected. You know, some tough losses there, and you know they played maybe a tougher schedule, but
sure.
It does. You know, you got to go with what you know. It's in what's in front of you. The numbers don't lie. So Onstead, number 1 ladies team in Ian Wendt's. These are the official Ian Wendt power rankings.
That's right. It's official. Yeah, I mean, Lenawee Christian loses to Temperance Bedford, and 2 nights ago to Farmington Hills Mercy, 67-51.
Yeah.
So it's a lopsided loss, but
For sure.
they're playing they're playing a tough schedule.
Absolutely.
No doubt about
and
it.
I mean, that's what their athletic director and coaches are. That's
Sure.
part of the plan. You know, you wanna rise and face tougher competition, but right now in the county, Onstead, looking 10-1. Yeah, that's a great start to a season. I mean, we're actually approaching the end pretty soon here. With how crazy the COVID season has been, and getting into playoffs and division regionals and things of that sort, all coming up very quickly. So, Onstead currently doesn't mean it's a forever thing. You find something over there?
Yeah. So I'm going through schedules.
Okay.
And we said how they have not played Lenawee Christian. So this is MHSAA.com. Onstead's lone loss to Brooklyn Columbia Central in overtime, 42-39. They are at Blissfield today, and then next week they go to Brooklyn Columbia Central for a rematch.
Okay.
The website says on March 11th they have a home game against
LCS.
Correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, mark your calendars. March 11th, a week from today, right? That's
Yeah, subject to change, but that's what the website here says. And wow,
that could be.
might have to make a trip over to Runaway Christian.
That
and
could
watch
be the
that
game
one.
of the week next week. I mean, yeah, those two teams.
Could be game of the year,
Yeah.
especially for 2 county teams.
For the local county teams, yeah, that's a big one.
Outstanding. So
Well,
hope that happens.
Yeah, I hope it does too. That would be great stuff. Not just that's just great basketball, and you always want to watch that. So exciting stuff there. You got that was just women's, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Just the ladies. We'll go to the boys.
All right, let's hear it.
Few big changes.
Oh boy.
Yep. Dropping down 3 spots to number 12, Addison.
Okay.
They're still defeated on the year. Morenci moving up a spot. They've played one less game. They equal the same number of wins as the Panthers. The Bulldogs are 0-6 on the year. Britton Deerfield stays steady at number 10. They're 1-5. Runaway Christian down a spot to number 9. They're 2-5. And that's because Hudson going on a bit of a run here. The Tigers jumping 3 spots for me to number 8. Last time we talked, they were 1-6. Now they're 3-8. So
Well, step in the right direction. Yeah.
That's right. Madison down 2 spots. They're on a pause. They haven't played since my last ranking. They're still being reported at 3-2 on the season. So they were at 5. They're down to 7. Adrian Maples, they hold steady at number 6. They're 4-6 on the year so far. Clinton down 3 spots. They're 5-5. Yeah, Clinton was up there my last ranking at number 2, but since then they are 1-3 for Clinton. Sand Creek jumping up 3 spots. They're 5-5. The Aggies were 3-4 last we talked. They've gone 2-1 since then. So Sand Creek up to number 4. Tecumseh holding steady at 4-2. They've gone 1-2 in the last couple for Tecumseh, so they're holding on.
Right.
They're holding on to number 3. Number 2 and up 2 spots, Onstead. They've really proven themselves in the last week, and they were at 3-3 last time out and won 3 straight.
Okay.
They're a hot team in this league. So right now they're the second best and the number 1. Staying there again, Blissfield. They're 8-1. They beat Onstead pretty handily earlier this season, and Royals have it rolling. So I'll fly through them 12-1. Addison, Morenci, BD, Runaway Christian, Hudson, Madison, Adrian, Clinton, Sand Creek, top 3, Tecumseh, Onstead, and Blissfield for the boys.
Nice. Nicely done. I like that, especially you got some of those games that have already been played. Having Blissfield and Onstead already have faced each other, it kind of makes that a little simple in who deserves to be above one another. And obviously, Blissfield's on a roll. Onstead getting hot, maybe, or if they play again? Is there a rematch at all?
There should be.
Okay.
Let me check the schedule here real quick.
Because that would be Onstead getting ready. Maybe they just have found themselves a little better than when they first squared off. Could be exciting stuff, and
So Onstead does play Blissfield tomorrow.
Okay.
7 o'clock. It's a home game for the Wildcats.
Okay, so that could maybe next week our power rankings will shape up differently. They could have some twists and turns. Exciting game tomorrow night though for both teams. I mean, you got to think the Wildcats are hungry for that one. Whenever you lose to a team, it sticks with you. I know that from being an athlete. Like you remember those losses probably even clearer than your wins. Sometimes, especially if it was a bad one, if you just played as a bad game, you just didn't play as well as you could have, you're going to remember that, and you're going to be hungry for that next opportunity. So, exciting stuff there. Those are our, Ian Wendt's power rankings.
Yeah, if you agree, you can claim it a little bit too.
No, I agree. I don't think I have enough of the back. You have a lot more of the knowledge on it, and I don't want to just plant my flag with something I'm not, fully aware of. And,
you didn't do the homework. You don't want to put your
exactly.
name on the paper that you didn't help write.
I learned that you can't just claim something that isn't yours. So
I will make a program note. I know you've heard the promo, and I know we have to go to break. But boys basketball tonight on the Cave. Adrian Runaway Christian will take on Sand Creek. So the Creek coming in at 5-5. Runaway Christian 2-5. Can the Aggies keep it going? John Kane with the call here on the Cave.
That'll be exciting stuff for sure. Coming up tonight here on the 96.5 The Cave and 965thecave.com. You're listening to Inside the Cave this morning with Chuck Moran and Ian Wendt. Got a little bit more time left, so hope you're sticking around with us. We'll be back right after this break.
The only way that Michigan State can win in the post tonight is if they can do what Illinois did,
Right.
and that is one-on-one beat Hunter Dickinson and make the guards beat them, which did not happen against Illinois. Michigan State, despite beating Illinois, is not Illinois. Like you said, they've not been a good team this year. They've been okay. They're a bubble team, right?
Absolutely.
If Dickinson stays out of foul trouble, huge advantage for Michigan. I even think Austin Davis right now is a better option than what Michigan State's throwing out. So I will agree with you that Michigan has the edge inside in this matchup. We'll move out to the wings and kind of the guard play overall. Not talking point guard. So we're talking like the Wagners, the Isaiah Livers, and for Michigan State, the Gabe Browns and Josh Langford. Who has the advantage?
I gotta go Michigan again. Their talent is, I think, deeper as well. And how they've played recently, you gotta look at and be confident when you could pass that ball to a couple different guys and be confident with that shot they take and be okay with it. They make or miss. You're okay with that. Michigan State, I feel like, is a little bit more forced of an offense at times. They look for specifically one person, and if they don't make that work or make that happen, it almost is a lost possession. Whereas Michigan, I think, has a little more options to run with.
I will cop out and say it's a push. I think that Michigan's guard play works off of the post. If Dickinson can make those passes, they can't hit down the shots. Now, Michigan, their players are streaky. Like Wagner will go out and put out 21 points. It looks like a great player. And then the next night, was he on the court? Same can be said for Livers or Brooks or any of those guys. And I think same can be said for Michigan State. That Brown can get going, Langford can get hot, but those guys can also disappear off the face of the earth and lay enough bricks to build a house.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess I don't see it as often as with, State, I think, almost thrives on if Brown and Langford are really playing well, then the whole team is playing up to that potential. And I think on Michigan side, that Dickinson against Illinois wasn't the first time a team has been able, or he's been quiet and hasn't really had a huge impact. It's just been the first time that no one else was able to step up and fill that role.
Yeah.
So I think even Davis, Austin came off the bench and played phenomenal and did really well. It was just he needed more supporting roles in the Illini game. Whereas State, I think if it's not on clicking on all cylinders, it's not clicking at all. Michigan has been able to scrape by a little bit, even if a part's missing. That's how I kind of look at it. But I do agree that it does come down. I mean, even if Dickinson's not playing well, they usually have someone inside still working well. Maybe not, they're a true center, but they have someone going to the post to draw the defense and really spreading the floor as much as they can. So I do agree with that, though, that the post is a huge part of Michigan's offense.
All right, now to the point guard, a position that for Michigan State, who is your point guard kind of going into the season? Is it Rocket Watts? Is it Aaron Henry? Is it Gabe Brown? Is it Ian Wendt? Is it Chuck Moran? Who's going to play point guard for this team? Where's Cassius? Where'd he go?
Right.
Cash, come back.
Over with the Wizards now.
Yeah, and now it's Aaron Henry.
Yeah.
And he's become the guy at point. And then for Michigan, it's a little bit by committee. You got Mike Smith doing his thing at point guard. But number of different guys that can facilitate the offense for Michigan. You said it before. You think advantage to Michigan?
I would say so. Well, this one is, I think, for me, this is the closest one. Aaron Henry might be a better point guard. And it's interesting. You look at the two offenses, how they operate. I think he's a true point guard. He sets up, and he's getting more and more to be a true point guard as he develops in that role. Whereas Michigan, maybe they don't have a true point guard because they haven't really needed to. They haven't needed to run it that way. They've been, like we talked about. I mean, when your center is at your average leading scorer, that shows where your offense is kind of running through. Like you plan to get it inside and dump the ball there. Whereas, and then if you get the threes and the threes are open, we can take those. And usually, we've had great success. We've had those rare games where the shooting isn't there. But when you're able to facilitate the ball the way Michigan is, they might not have that true point guard position the way Michigan State has kind of developed Henry to be. And I mean, you look over the years. Yeah, we mentioned Cassius, and that's his go-to. I mean, that is his offense that he likes running. Is a point guard ran. You come up the floor, he sets the play, and you run it that way. Whereas Michigan's almost reversing it, and it's like whoever takes the ball at the top doesn't mean that they are facilitating it. Dickinson down low is really setting up the rest of the play. Whoever's in the post setting up the rest of the play. They're either going to dump it or we're going to try and take it the three-pointer. We don't really take many mid-range shots on the Wolverines. It's just not, because there's no need. If you can get it inside, who's going to stop you? Illinois. But
right.
Other than that, it's a very rare. It's not a every night. If every night they were going in, they were trying to take it down the center, and all of a sudden they're getting stopped. Okay, we'd have to change up the routine. But I do, yeah. Like I said, this is the closest one for me of any of the spots. So
it's certainly a discussion, and I think you hit a lot of good points about it. That it's the Aaron Henry show for Michigan State. The way he goes, the team goes. He shot like 0 for 9 in the second half against Maryland, and the
they
team
crumbled.
There was nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, he would drive the lane, get double teamed, throw it to some guy who would miss.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to do something off of it. And when Aaron Henry can do something off of it, like drive and hit a floater, or drive and get a layup, or drive and kick out and then keep running the offense, then State can do some things. But I'm haunted by watching him drive into the lane against Maryland and throw it away.
Yeah.
Or drive in the lane against Maryland, get triple teamed, kick it out to a guy
who has an open look.
Yeah, open look, miss.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit of the...
And that's what your point guard should do.
Yeah.
And that's what made Cassius so good, is he got people involved in the game, during the game.
Yeah.
And then in the end, like, okay, it's my turn.
Right.
I can do this. And then the other team is thinking he can pass it, or he's been doing this all game. And that's how Cassius would get open.
Yeah.
That's how he would work things. And can Aaron Henry do it? He has at times.
Yeah.
Is Michigan's point guard position, has it been more consistent? Yes. Has it been better? Yes. Because he's running the offense.
Right.
You have to do motions and screens to get Dickinson open, because it's not a surprise. Hey, this big tall guy's getting the ball.
Yeah.
We need to front him. We need to double team. We need to block these entry passes
right
into the post. So there's a lot of movement and those types of things to get the offense rolling for Michigan. And I give a lot of credit to them. And the edge I do give to Michigan in the point guard perspective. If Aaron Henry plays the way Aaron Henry did against Illinois and Ohio State,
right,
that could be a difference in the game. But if he's average Aaron Henry, Michigan's better at the point guard spot.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's been interesting. You think about it, I mean, Michigan runs an offense that you would think would have to take some time to develop. And I guess maybe that's what's so surprising is then you got to remember, he's a freshman. You're like, this isn't an offense they've been developing for a few years. This isn't like the 90s Bulls where, hey, we have these few parts with Jordan okay, now we've added Pippen. No, this team is very new together in the grand scheme of college basketball. I mean, college basketball is a young game right now. You have a lot of these, one and done guys, but this offense where you can set the roles, you can know the motion, that's not an easy thing to accomplish, and it's very unique. It's not revolutionary. It's not something, but it's a hard offense to kind of just build, and they've been doing it all year. And I guess maybe that was why teams weren't ready for Michigan. They weren't prepared for him to be as good as he has been.
No.
And rightfully so. I mean, I don't think any of us were, even Michigan fans. I mean, we were just like, okay, it's gonna be a tough season. We're gonna play our best, but we don't know what to expect. Here we are. I mean, he's your leading scorer. He's averaging just under 15 points. Everyone knows the ball's going to him, and he's still, on a rare occasion, he's shut down. But most nights, even when they know it's going to him, he's able to work it. It's like running a ball in NFL. You know they're running the ball to run the clock,
Sure.
and you can't stop it.
Yeah.
The ball's going to Hunter, and you can't stop it.
Good luck.
Yeah. So exciting stuff. A lot of those areas. Michigan right now having the edge in basketball. Rare time and a different time, but in the world everything's different. So.
But man, they haven't played each other.
I know.
Could you imagine this conversation if Michigan didn't go on their COVID pause, or Michigan
man.
State didn't go on theirs, and they played each other once, and this is game 2?
Right.
There's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they didn't get a chance to play before every COVID hit both of those schools. I mean, neither the programs themselves were okay.
Oh.
Well, State had
cases.
State had cases. Michigan, the whole campus, that was a whole different thing. But at the same time, they both did have to take breaks because of COVID. And since now we have the teams, we've kind of known Michigan, but Michigan State's changing their face of who they've been all year, in recent weeks, which is good for the program. It's good for it makes the selection committee probably tougher. It probably puts them in a rock and a hard place, but. That's the enjoyment of sports when you're looking at these teams and all of a sudden they're coming together and you're like, man, they could be legit. They are. So it'll be exciting. That's I can't really describe it any other way. It's going to be exciting basketball tonight, Sunday. I mean, this is the time of the year. We're in March Madness. It can start right away. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Taking a break here on 90.
I want to get one more thing in there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I know we're up against it. We're running a little late, but this is like the game.
You're right.
Michigan State.
Absolutely.
So, what do you think is the difference maker for both teams? If Michigan wins, why did they win? If State wins, why did they win? What's the difference maker for Michigan?
Michigan, difference maker, being able to get the ball successfully in the post with Hunter. Or whoever's playing that spot. If Hunter's not having a great night, again, okay, we got to make that decision early on, kind of run with it, and be confident with that decision. That would be the big difference maker. Being able to run the post and work the post the way that they have.
For me, Michigan's difference maker, threes.
Okay.
Dickinson will get doubled almost every time he gets the ball. Michigan's got to hit their threes. If they're off, which historically they go play State and they don't play like Michigan. They miss some threes and blah blah blah. If they're hitting their threes, this game could get ugly. Because then you can't double Hunter, and then he puts up his 15 to 20 points.
Then you got to guard the perimeter. Yeah.
So for Michigan, hit your threes. If you don't, State doesn't respect it. It becomes the Illinois game.
Right.
Where, all right, shoot it. You're open. You're not going to make it.
Yeah.
We're fine. So Michigan State, what's their difference maker? If they're going to pull off this upset, what do they have to do?
I think Michigan State has to work Aaron Henry and let him facilitate the ball. He's averaging just under 4 assists a game. I think that number tonight is going to have to be close to 7. I think he's going to need to put up 7 assists to really showing that they're, because you don't get an assist unless the other person scores.
True.
So you got to be able to pass the ball, and like you said, he can dish it, but the other guys have to make the shots. So if Aaron Henry can put up 7 assists, I think they're in a good spot to, really compete in this game.
Michigan State, for me, it's defense. They looked horrible against Luka Garza. They've given up big-time points to Indiana star players. They've given up big points to the Buckeye star players. Defense. Can you double-team Dickinson, make him throw it out, and then recover and contest that three?
I like that.
If State's defense is bad, the offense will struggle.
Yeah.
This game will be ugly. It's got to start on defense.
All right. Well, there you go. I like that. That was a good addition. What's going to make the difference in this game? So, hey, you got one more segment coming up, Lock of the Week coming up. So keep it tuned here to 96.5 The Cave, 96.5thecave.com. Chuck Moran, Ian Wendt with you. Hope you're having a great start of your morning like we are. right, welcome back inside the cave on 96.5 The Cave and 96.5thecave.com. Chuck Moran, Ian Wendt here to finish up the show, get you on the way on the rest of this Thursday, March 4th. You ready for it?
Oh, I'm ready. We have a busy last 3 minutes. I need to get a big-time score out there, and kudos to Clinton. Redskins wrestling program took on Hudson and Blissfield yesterday. Clinton, Hudson 1-2 in Division 4. Clinton 41 to Hudson's 14. Then Clinton over Blissfield 84-0. Clinton now 15-1 on the year, 6-1 in the conference. Landis Gilman with a win, giving him 100 for his career. So a big congratulations to the Clinton wrestling program. And I'm sure that's not the last we'll hear from Hudson.
Yeah.
But for now, Clinton reigning supreme.
Big time match.
That's right. So congratulations to them. Wanted to get that score out there real quick.
Absolutely. Well, it's that time of the show where we get into our Lock of the Week. This week's Lock of the Weekend is being brought to you by Adrian Locksmith. Let's be honest, you couldn't pick your nose if it wasn't attached to your face. So I can't imagine you're that good at picking games. Well, we're going to help you out with the help of Adrian Locksmith. They have been serving Lenawee County and continue to the surrounding areas for over 20 years. Adrian Locksmith is located at the corner of North Main and Maple Avenue in downtown Adrian.
Or change the security on your home or business? If it involves locks, keys, or any kind of video surveillance,
All right, back for the Lock of the Weekend. Who you got?
We'll go with the game tonight. Game we're broadcasting. John Kane will be at Runaway Christian for Sand Creek and Runaway Christian. I'm going to lock in Sand Creek
Really?
to get the win, to go above 500, to go to 6-5 on the year. So that's my lock of the weekend.
All right.
Sticking local.
Keeping it local. Love to hear it. That's going to be a good game. You're going to hear that right here on 96.5 The Cave with our very own John Kane. So that has been our Lock of the Weekend, which has been brought to you by Adrian Locksmith. Security is their business. Adrian Locksmith is at 402 North Main Street in Adrian. You can call them at 517-263-1415 or check them out on Facebook. Again, that's Adrian Locksmith. So that's going to be a good game. Exciting coming up this evening. You know, a lot of good games locally within the next week. You know, not sure if I'll be back next Thursday but I'm excited to hear your power rankings. That's for sure. You know, a lot of games that could kind of shift up those standings. So a lot of exciting stuff, and of course the Big Ten basketball that's going to be everyone in the state, in the region, probably in the country is going to be tuning in. I mean, those are big games for both teams. More so probably for the Spartans. The green and white must-win type area, type territory, which they're not used to. So exciting stuff. It's been a great morning inside the cave.
I want to get your pick.
Michigan
is favored by 12.
12.
Look at cover.
I was good on this last week. I'm not. It's one of those games. I think if I was actually putting money on it, I'd stay away from it. But just for fun, I say State covers. Actually, I think it's going to be within 12. I think Michigan gets the win, but I think State covers it and it's within 12. So that's my pick. What do you think?
Well, it's a tough number.
Yeah.
Again, I would not touch it with my own money. With a 10-foot pole, gosh, I think Michigan will probably cover.
Yeah,
I think so.
all right. Well, it's going to be exciting. Hey, that was a great morning, great show inside the cave. Chuck Moran, Ian Wendt, hoping you guys have a great rest of your Thursday, and you're tuned in next time with us here on 96.5 The Cave and 96.5thecave.com.